Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. And this is like super exciting for me. So this is my first time I've ever hosted a free live trading. I don't think there's a better time nor day to do it other than maybe Tuesday. Tuesday, I had an absolute amazing day. A little bit over $1,800 profit. Today, I'm up a little bit over $1,000. Definitely not too bad. The people within Learn Plan Profit, they got to watch me trade live today for about 30 minutes, and then I had to get everything ready for this live stream. So we actually have a couple of them tuning in. Some of them wanted to moderate the chat and also speak their own 2 cents about their experience within Learn Plan Profit. So yeah, I'm super excited. We're going to do this for about 1 hour. I'm going to give it about 5 to 10 minutes just for people to start tuning in. We were sending out the links. Some of the messages we're going through. So let's go ahead and you guys should be able to see the live chat actually. Dingleberry, right? Come on. All right, there we go. You guys should be able to see the live chat right there. Quick and friendly reminder. I want to let you guys know that please refrain from, like, when I'm doing technical analysis, don't be spamming the chat. Everything that you call out when it comes down to, like, if you want me to break down a stock, it has to be in that ticker call out format. I don't trade Forex. I don't trade cryptocurrency. I don't trade options. Please do not ask me why. I just don't. So I'm going to be talking about investing in the stock market. I might branch off and talk about overall mindset. This is pretty much what we do every single day within Learn Plan Profit. So we come together as a team every single day at market open. So the market opens here in Arizona Pacific Standard Time at around 6:30 a.m. So at 6:30 a.m. sharp, I host my live stream with the Learn Plan Profit group, and they get to watch me trade live. We trade for about usually 45 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe sometimes more, depending on how much fun we're having. And yeah, not only do you guys get this, but also like the Discord chat for those that are part of TechBud Solutions. You guys know what that is. We get to network and stuff like that. So I'm actually in a position again right now. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but TNDM, if you guys didn't check out my story, that's the stock that I'm up a little bit over $1,100 on the day, right? I took another position on TNDM because of the aggressive sell-off that it had. I'm going to explain to you. So this is the whole point. Like, forget about the stocks that I'm trading. Forget about, call outs and all that stuff. That's not, if you're going to enroll or want to be a part of a community that tells you where to buy and tells you where to sell, like Signals, that's not going to be us. We're not going to spoon feed you. I'm not going to tell you if you're not willing to put forth the work, it's not going to work well for you. Easiest way to put it. I share my thought process. You ask me, like, hey, what do I think about this stock, with your own opinion already. So like, let's see who we have here. So let's see. I want to see, who do we have here from Learn Plan Profit? I want to see if we have any of our morning players from LPP. There we go. All right. So, okay. So we have a couple people with them. Oh, man. We have quite a bit of people. Now, how many people are not enrolled in Learn Plan Profit? How many people are not enrolled in Learn Plan Profit but are part of TechBud Solutions? Okay. I like it. Okay, great. We have a great mix of people. One of the things that I think we do I'm just going to start sharing my screen. We're approaching that about 6-minute mark after going live. But yeah, I'm just going to be sharing my thought process. Again, in no way are any of the stocks that I trade today any stock suggestions by any means. This is me simply just sharing my thought process, talking about what I see value in, what I don't, and stuff like that. I truly do hope that you guys enjoy it. If you guys have any feedback after the live free trading, feel free to message me through Discord. Do not message me through Instagram. Do not message me through Facebook. Again, the best way to message me is through Discord if you want a response from me. But yeah, and again, friendly reminder, if you share, if you use any foul language, if you share any outside links, if you are disrespectful to anyone within the chat, we have moderators within this right now, and they will not hesitate to ban you from our entire YouTube channel. So I just wanted to send you that friendly reminder. It's a quick little button that we press, and then poof, you guys are gone, right? All right, sounds good, sounds good. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna start sharing my screen and then we can kind of get right to this. So I'm gonna dedicate a little bit of the morning chat, right, this morning live stream, to a stock that I see value in. So right now on the open, I'm down $116, which means that on my current position that I just took at 41.75 on average, I'm down about $105. On the day, I'm still up over $1,000 on the day. I re-entered after it had an aggressive sell-off. Again, I got in right around this area right here. It continued to sell off and it's still showing signs of a downtrend. I'm going to explain to you why I bought, like why am I buying when it's still below the EMA line and stuff like that. I took a 400 share position. That's less than, $20,000. I normally trade with my overall position size about 25 to maybe $30,000. And again, that's something that I've shared with everyone within my YouTube channel and that I talk about all the time, right? So one thing that I really liked, so again, sharing my thought process. What is it that I like about TNDM? Not only on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, but the thing that I really like, and I've talked about it multiple times, is the ongoing uptrend for TNDM. I'm not investing in a super low cap stock. I'm not investing in a pump and dump. I'm not investing in something that has an aggressive descending pattern. What do I mean by a descending pattern? Something like this, something where, if you want your account to grow, it makes sense on why you should invest in patterns. So if you want your account to go like this, right? We want our account to show signs of an uptrend. If we have $1,000, we want to grow it to 2,000. So its overall direction should be moving up. So then why are you investing in stocks in which patterns are pointing down, like TOPS, right? It doesn't really make sense. But let's say moving on over to TNDM, overall analysis, and again, this is just a step. It doesn't mean that every time that you invest in a stock that's like this, it's going to work, right? Because people that bought at 52 are not in the green right now. But one thing that we can do is if you focus on investing in stocks with uptrend patterns, if you focus on getting a good deal and focus on getting in stocks that are showing signs of an ongoing uptrend, then you have a mix of criteria that the stock has to meet before you actually take a position, right? So it definitely, yeah, exactly. Could this be a nice swing trade? Luke, exactly. That's exactly what it can be. But what is it that we need it to do before it meets that criteria? Right now, it's in the very early stages. Do you see this? In the very early stages of reversing. The thing that I really like about it is that the MACD is starting to show signs of an uptrend, all that stuff. Wow, it's really pushing up right now, and I'm not in with very much. So I'm up now $144 on the actual position. I'm going to wait a little bit more for a pullback. I wanted to pull back a little bit closer to 41.80, and I'll add more to my position. Again, I'm normally in with about 600 shares to maybe 700. I'm in right now with 400 shares, so I'm going to add. So this is one thing that I do. I don't like adding to my position. One of the biggest mistakes that new traders make is they add to their position as it starts to sell off, to average down. It doesn't make sense. It's not showing signs of an uptrend, nothing like that, right? So one thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to add 300 shares once I get the pullback confirmation. So I like that it pushed up. That's exactly what I wanted to see. But now I want to get in for a better buy. So I'm going to put a limit order at like 41.85. I don't know if I'm going to get filled, but I want to add to my position as it continues to show signs of an uptrend. So yeah, I really don't think I'm going to get filled. So I'm going to put it at 41.90. Here we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and send it with a limit order. So again, a limit order means that I'm buying at my exact price point. And if it doesn't fill me at this exact price point, then I won't get filled. So I'm trying to get in with another 300 shares. Again, I'm up $100 on the open, a little bit over $1,200 on the day. Definitely not too shabby. Again, I want to be completely transparent. My normal days are not over $1,000. They're not $1,300. You guys watch me trade live and recap every single day on YouTube. My daily goal is $500 to $750. That's what will make me happy and keep me on track to my weekly goal and my monthly goal, right? So with that being said, that's something that what is it called? On Tuesday, had an amazing day, $1,800, right? I traded TNDM. And yesterday I made $100 on JNUG. I was down $200 on TNDM. And today I'm back up over $1,200 on TNDM. So overall, green on the week, right? And yeah, so again, what is it? So forget about TNDM, forget about all that stuff. Like what you guys are probably wondering is like, how do I know when to enter a position? How do I know when to exit? Like, why did I buy where I bought, right? One thing that I was looking for, and I'm gonna have to move this up a little bit more because it's not pulling back enough. So I can just simply drag and click and it moves, but I don't know if I'm gonna get filled. So I'm I'm gonna have to set an alert just to make sure that when I'm doing my technical analysis that I can stay up to date. But one thing that I really like, actually, is this making lower highs? Let's wait for this. So one thing that I want to make sure that I avoid is that I don't want to get in when it's making lower highs and then it continues to make lower lows. But I'm going to talk to you very quickly about why I bought. Do you see this MACD indicator right here? So I had an aggressive sell-off. This is where I was selling, right? I was buying the dips, selling the peaks, buying the dips, selling the peaks. Very easy to understand that. It started to become very overbought and then it started to sell off. It showed an aggressive sell-off, and this is what I was paying attention to. The RSI looked very oversold, so it showed opportunity for a potential good deal intraday on the 1-day, 1-minute chart. And then I saw the MACD, so it continues to make signs of a descending pattern. The bars are getting longer, 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 longer. That's not something that I want to see. That's showing signs of a continuous downtrend pattern. But it's at this point, right here, when this first bar started to show signs of a potential uptrend. And then that's when I started to take my position, right? So at that, 41.75, added to my position or took that position of 41.75, and then it continued to sell off. The reason that I took, so why did I not go in with 700 shares originally? Can any of you guys guess like why I don't take, my full position right away? Like why would I not be someone that like, okay, well, if I see potential to, go in right here, why not go in with, the 700 shares? Average up, maintain loss, managing risk. Okay, confirmation, you're filling out the risk 100%. That's the easiest way to put it. I want to invest in something that is showing signs of a continuous uptrend. I see value in TNDM. There's no question about that, right? But the thing is I don't know when TNDM is actually going to reverse. I have to admit to myself that I'm getting in a little bit early. Like it was not above the EMA indicator. So one thing that I do is when it's not above the EMA indicator, and even sometimes when it is, I take a smaller position, maybe about 50 to 60% of what my normal position is, just to feel it out. I know I'm getting in for a good deal. I'm managing my risk, and all of a sudden, if it starts to aggressively sell off and there's a complete break of pattern, I can cut losses. And because I manage my risk, because my position size is much smaller, the dollar value that I'm risking is also much smaller. So I got my foot in the door with managing my risk and filling out the stock. Does that make sense? I'm still managing my risk. I'm still sticking to the very basics, but I'm just getting my foot in the door. And then as I confirmed this reversal, as you guys saw, when I broke above the EMA indicator, I waited for the pullback confirmation. So I don't care when it just pushes up. That's nice, but I like to wait for pullback confirmations when it pulls back and then makes higher highs, kind of like this. So now that it's starting to show signs of it making higher highs, so again, do you see this MACD bar now? It's starting to show signs almost of a peak formation, so it's almost going to start to descend. That's going to show me signs that it's going to almost start to pull back. So I want to see how much I'm up. I'm up $138, a little bit over $1,300 on the day. So I was supposed to add more to my position, but I have to admit to myself that, hey, like, I was a little bit too late with my entry, and watch, you'll see one of the MACD bars, the RSI is starting to point down. There, the MACD bar just showed a sell signal, not a sell, but a descending, pattern, right, with that descending MACD bar. So one thing that I'll do is, again, I'm still up, it's $68 now. So I gave back a little bit. It should push up, there it goes. It sold off just a little bit more. And I should have been a little bit quicker at this. I should have seen that it was peaking out, and the reason I could have told that or seen that is due to this. So there it goes. It's trying to peak out. But right here with the MACD, we almost saw like the MACD bars almost exactly parallel with one another. So it's starting to show signs of a potential peak. Again, you never want to solely rely on one indicator, but it's something that I easily could have gone off of. So with that understanding, I could have sold my position, walked away, and have been happy with the $138 that I was up. Now I'm up about like 5 cents per share, so definitely not the best. But this might allow me to, this might allow me now to add to my position. Let's see if we want to do this. No, the MACD is actually descending, so I probably don't want to do this. Yeah, I don't want to do that. There it goes. It's pulling back, and we're probably going to see a pullback to about this, what's it called, SMA line. So maybe a little bit below that, but let's see. Yep, 100%. So thank you again for this. Yeah, we do have a bunch of videos on YouTube that you guys are more than welcome to learn from. I know they're kind of all over the place, and that's kind of the whole purpose of the course. It's to cover everything in a structured way. So if you feel like you're learning things, but it's kind of very unorganized, that's the whole point of the course. They're newer videos, more straight to the point, and then structured in a way in which I wish I was taught. How do you decide your entry and most important and your exit point, and more importantly, how do you stick to it? So planning out your trade, I think, is very important. There's certain patterns and characteristics that I kind of look for. So like I explained, when I look for my entry point, I like to make sure that I'm getting a good deal, that it's showing signs of a potential bounce, right? And that it's either some form of indicator, so either like, the SMA line or the MACD. Do you remember when I talked about when it was starting to show signs of a reversal right here with the MACD, with the descending MACD bars? That's what indicated me, okay, maybe I should take a position here, and then add more to my position when it breaks above the EMA indicator. And then once I saw that the MACD bars were peaking out, do you see this? When they're peaking out here, and obviously a sign of resistance right around 42.15, it made sense to me on then maybe why I should sell my position there. So with that, I talked about my entry. I added more to my position. Obviously, I wanted it to go to 42.50, but have to admit to myself that, hey, it's showing signs of a resistance. I'm going to lock in profits and walk away, right? I wasn't quick enough with locking in profits, my mistake. But I should still be up a little bit, $48, not much, but something, right? Appreciate that. A bubble red. So this is one of the most clearest explanations I think you have. I really do appreciate that. And again, if there's anything that I can do better, you guys let me know, and I'd be more than happy to do so. So are these lives what LPP members get? Yeah, so thanks for the free live, of course, from Australia. So yeah, it's what we do every single day. And you can ask anyone that's part of, Learn, Plan, Profit about their experience. I host a live stream just like this every single day at Market Open for about 1 hour. I've done it since I started Learn, Plan, Profit. I do it even when I travel. Europe was an exception. I only went like live twice or 3 times, I think, just due to bad internet connection. But the thing is like, I go live every day because I trade every day. So it's not an inconvenience to me. Like, I'm doing this every day. I love surrounding myself with motivated people. And one of the biggest values I think that we get within Learn, Plan, Profit is, yes, you get to watch me trade live, which is extremely helpful. Yes, you get access to the course for a lifetime, which is extremely helpful. But it's the community in which we surround ourselves with. I don't know about you guys, but like, even if you have friends that, are not just smart, but that always uplift you. I don't know if you guys have any friends like that always uplift you, but they always motivate you to do better. Even at your worst days, they encourage you to not give up. And I think that's what's most important, especially in entrepreneurship. As you guys know, I don't just invest in the stock market. I do a series of different things when it comes down to investing in multiple different markets. I own a series of different businesses, and that is the biggest, I think, value in which we provide. We have thousands of people all across the world that are well-versed in every market, and we come together every single day to network and to talk about what we see value in, and we stay up to date with each other's lives from time to time, right? We do a lot of like mindset kind of like just tangent sometimes. I think one of my best live streams was 1 or 2 days ago when I was talking to the team, so with the Learn, Plan, Profit group, just talking about overall mindset, not giving up. It's when I had my $1,800 day, and just talking about like, these days are great, but what's most important is, again, like I had a lot of fun, like trading, and the money is always great, right? But what's most fun is how we like network with one another within Learn, Plan, Profit. And I know a lot of you guys experience that also with TechBud Solutions. But yeah. So do you think that TMDM is showing signs of potential resistance? I think it's showing signs of a potential like descending pattern, and I don't like how it's getting rejected by that middle view op. So I should act probably a little bit quicker, and I'm just going to sell my position. So I'm going to sell my position 100%. And let's see if I can get in or get out at a better price point. We're just trading in between 41.84. No, it looks like it's definitely starting to show signs of a sell-off. I just don't want to risk it. And whoa. Oh my goodness. I thought I said 100%. I sold 100 shares. Dingleberry mistake. Okay. Well, here we go. Yeah, it's starting to show signs of a potential resistance right around that general area of that middle VWAP. So it's something that we have to, admit to ourselves. I know it sucks. I mean, I'm not cutting losses. I'm still green, but barely. And it definitely does suck. It's showing signs. Do you guys see this pattern where it's showing signs of a peak formation? It's sold off, peak, and it's selling off. It's almost making like lower highs, and that's not a great sign. And you could see that the level 2, it continues to get lower. The ask continues to sell off more and more and more and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely not the best, but let's check it out on where we're at. The MACD bar is descending, so that was very easy to identify. So that's a pretty good question. Like, how do you determine a resistance? And this is the thing that I think like people tend to overcomplicate, both with support and resistance. Both support and resistance are psychological price points they're made up. They're price points based on previous patterns. It's where a stock previously has potentially bounced at and where a stock has potentially previously peaked out at. There's no exact price point. This is something that we all have to understand and make sense of. There's no exact price point that it has to hit. Does that make sense? So like that's why you need to become so familiar and so well versed with understanding that like when you see signs of a resistance, like when you see a pattern like this where it starts to really consolidate right around this area and it struggles to break above that, that's showing signs of a resistance, right? When the MACD is starting to peak out, when you could see that it's at the middle VWAP, but again, that can be a resistance, but then the pattern is what's most important. And you can see that the pattern is really starting to show signs of a peak formation and it's really starting to become overextended. Right, the RSI is overextended. You just see solid signs of it being very difficult for it to break above that certain price point. That is showing signs of resistance. So we just broke above this price point. Let's see where we're at. There we go. I'm just gonna, nice little pop up. I'm just gonna sell my position there and call it a day. So I got out at 42.05. Here we go. So I closed a little bit over $1,200. Not bad. Again, not the $1,200 is absolutely amazing. I was already up a little bit, so it's not like extremely impressive, right? I was already up a little bit over 1,000. But yeah, actually one thing that I'm noticing is that we're actually making, there we go. So we just broke above the resistance here that it had around 42.15. So what I'm gonna do is, do you guys see this pattern where the SMA is almost acting as a support? It continues to make the lows. You see when it pulls back, every time that it pulls back, it doesn't go as low as it did before. So it pushes up, pulls back, it's higher than it was before. It pushes up, pulls back, it's still higher than it did before. It pushes up, made higher highs, and we should expect a pullback to around the middle VWAP and stuff like that. So let's see. Check it out. So this is a pretty good question. So I wouldn't really be able to help you much with this, but like Robinhood is only for US citizens. Can you give me something from Europe? So again, we get that question a lot. Like I'm not very well versed with brokerages, especially commission-free brokerages outside of the US. If anyone has any tips, feel free to share it. But we do have an outside of the US chat, which allows you to network with members within Learn Plan Profit that are outside of the US. But yeah, feel free to share whatever brokerage you use that's free and stuff like that. So just read the comments here, and hopefully they can get in the right direction. Again, it's just not something that I have experienced nor can say much about. So let's see. Yeah, so do you record your daily live streams? So yeah, I know that everyone cannot tune in at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what we do is within the Learn Plan Profit, group chat, right? So we have the Learn Plan Profit group chat. We have this thing that's called the Morning Chat Library, and it hosts every single, you could always go back and rewatch whatever it is that you missed, or if you just want to rewatch it and recap. It's kind of like our own little, playlist, but just for those that are part of, Learn, Plan, Profit and stuff like that. So here we go. We're approaching a slight resistance right around 42.20. So I want to check this. I want to check out a couple other stocks. So JNEG is showing signs of a continuous downward pattern. Dang, there it goes. I'm going to step away from TNDM for a little bit. I'm going to set my alert, just wait for a pullback, and I just want to give it a little bit more time to maybe sell off. I know it can continue to push up, and all power to you for those that are trading it. I just want to give it a little bit more time. Do you guys see this? So JNEG was showing signs of a very aggressive push up, and then all of a sudden gets rejected. This is something that I talked to the Learn, Plan, Profit group about in the morning. You need to become familiar with how to understand futures and how they correlate on over to ETFs. JNEG was showing signs of an uptrend, and all we're capturing is as it's pushing up. But the beautiful thing about futures is that they trade a little bit longer. So with /GC, you could see that it was showing signs of an uptrend, but it was very overextended. It was not a good deal. So it made sense on why you possibly wanted to lock in profits on JNEG as it was around that area. And then it starts showing signs of a descending pattern, and as you could see, /GC then begins to follow, right? So one thing that we need to take into consideration is that now JNEG is now bearish on the day. So because this is my active watch list, I'm gonna make sure that I take this into consideration and then put JDST now in my list instead of JNEG because, JNEG isn't showing signs of an uptrend anymore. So let's see where it's at. Did I not add it? Oh, there it is. Here we go. And there we go. JDST trading in between the middle and top view up, just how we like it. Middle, top view up, really nice pattern. And again, this isn't going to be necessarily a swing trade. If you look at the overall patterns, JDST has had an aggressive sell-off. It can potentially bounce around the $70 price point and try to make a recovery. I think that there's going to be a nice little shift in direction between the gold-based ETFs and stuff like that. It's nice for a day trade. I would say don't get greedy, lock in profits. That's something that we always talk about. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set an alert for a potential pullback on JDST just because I see it to become, as of right now, a little bit more on the overextended side. Let's see. HTZ, very aggressive sell-off. So it's something that we have to take into consideration. CY rejected at $16. Can you guys tell me? Can you guys help me out? So I've talked about the resistance at $16, right? And why it would pull back, but why would we so we see the pattern. Oh, TNDM just broke above 42.30. Congrats to all those that are still in it. Let's do this together. So what about CY do we like? And maybe why would we possibly not buy right now? What about it might not want to make me buy right now? Can you guys help me out with that? Lower highs, MACD's peaked out, love it. Earnings, no, that's not earnings, that's the dividends payout, so that's a little different. MACD's already up, overextended, RSI is crap, okay, it's overextended. So first of all, we need to take into consideration that, first of all, anything can happen, right? But with that understanding, the pattern that I see on CY is, if I look big picture, take a step back, look at the big picture, it normally trades in between 16 to about 17 to maybe 17.50. We could admit that, right? There's a really nice horizontal pattern, very nice, very consistent, great. Does that mean that if I buy in right now, that it's just gonna shoot straight up? Probably not. We have to understand that it's characteristic, how it pushes up, how it continues to make higher highs and all that good stuff, right? So with that understanding, look at this MACD, right? It's pushed up nonstop for about maybe 3 to 4 days. It's pushed up, it's become very overextended, and it's approaching the $16 price point, which normally acts as a support. And as we know, maybe for those that aren't familiar with it, old support levels become new resistance levels. So with that understanding, we could see that the MACD is very overextended, the RSI is very overextended, and we're approaching a potential resistance around $16. Obvious signs on why we might want to lock in profits, or before we go in for a potential swing trade, to maybe wait for a pullback confirmation, meaning that it sells off, bounces on the EMA line, and then continues to make higher highs, so it kind of resets the RSI and the MACD. Does that make sense? And it's just a simple reminder. It's like, yes, have in mind the margin of profit that it has to offer, but also keep in mind the its pattern in which it moves. And that's something that I think not a lot of people think about. All they think about is like, oh my God, look at all this margin of profit that it has to offer. I'm going to buy in right now because it's showing signs of an uptrend. And then once it starts to pull back, although that's normal for its characteristic, you become very distressed. You become very uncomfortable and emotional. And before you take your next position, just ask yourself, do I understand the characteristic? Do I understand the way that it moves? And is it something that you are comfortable investing in? Is it something that, like, does the margin of profit still outweigh the margin of loss? Something that we could all ask ourselves, right? Yeah, everyone's right now messaging in the chat that TNDM just hit highs of 42.50. So I think we did an amazing job, locking in profits. So yes, I sold a little bit too early, and it's something that I do very often. But I still felt very comfortable. I'm up still a little bit over $1,200 on the day. I can't complain about that, right? And it showed signs of a resistance in which the price I sold. So, and this is also something that I want to talk about. Let me check out TQQ real quick. Okay. Now it's definitely becoming much more overbought. So again, just friendly reminder, maybe it might not be the best, it might not be the worst idea to lock in profits if you're still in. So just based on previous patterns, it's reaching a price point in which, or a price territory, whatever it is you want to call it, that you might want to lock in profits at. Up to you. Again, all power to you. And yeah, but one thing that I think that, man, I kind of lost my train of thought. But one thing that I quickly wanted to talk about was the idea of, we talked about it very briefly today for those that are part of Learn Plan Profit. So I'm sorry if those that are joining are, not really going to benefit from this, that already watched the Learn Plan Profit live stream. But having an understanding there should always be a reason in which you take a position and exit a position. Always. Always, always, always. If it's because of an indicator, if it's because of a pattern, there should always be a reason that you enter and exit a position, not based on someone else's opinion, but solely based on your understanding of what you are doing. So if I sold where I sold, right? If I sold, where was it that I sold exactly? 42.05. Wow, that sucks because it's at 42.50. So I missed out on quite a bit. Let's just calculate just so you guys can make fun of me of how much I missed out on. 1%, definitely not too bad. I had 400 shares. Yeah, it sucks, but nothing crazy. One thing that I could have done better, or one thing that I did was I sold. Why did I sell at $42? 42 to 42.05. Why did I sell around that area? Well, based on previous patterns, it showed signs of a resistance. Not at that exact price point. Forget about exact price points. When I get people that call out supports at like 42.019, it's like, I get that you're trying to like become very specific, but become more broad in like there's price ranges, price territories where something becomes overbought or overextended. So with that understanding, like there's this price range, right, from around $42 to $42.20 that it becomes overextended because of the MACD and because I know that it can get rejected around that area. Same thing with right now. Now we're approaching a resistance around 42.40 to 42.60 in which it normally gets rejected at. That's a good sell price range. Does that make sense? So that's why I sold. There's a reason in which I sold. So regardless, and this is the biggest thing, regardless if it continues to go up, there is a fundamental or technical reason based on my analysis that I sold. There is a fundamental or technical reason in which why I bought. I didn't just buy because I was like, I want to enter a position, let's do it. Or I didn't just buy because, Don Fron told me to. I bought because of my analysis. It made sense to me. And if you focus, and how many times have you guys taken a position and end up having a stop loss out or cut losses because you took a position, either because you haven't traded in a while or you just want to take a position that day. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to miss out. I want to take a position right before the day ends so I could swing trade it for tomorrow and not worry about a day trade. How many times have you guys done that? I've done that when I was under the PD2 rule. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make, because all you're thinking about is like, oh my God, I have a 50-50 chance of this thing, opening green tomorrow. And I didn't even have to waste the day trade. How many of you guys do that? How many of you guys took a position yesterday and end up in the red today because you did that? I'll admit I've done that multiple times, especially when I just got started. And it's nothing wrong, nothing that you're like, nothing that you have to be ashamed about. It's a very simple mistake that a lot of people make. But if we focus so much more on having an understanding in why what we are doing, that is what's most important. So many people, there was actually a couple people when they were trying to petition the PD2 rule, and I know that this could be maybe something that I don't know if I should talk about it openly, but I had a couple people message me, bigger YouTube channels, that when the PD2 rule was being petitioned, they told me, hey, you have a very large channel, very large reach. You should tell your audience to sign this petition. And I was completely against it. I honestly stand behind the PDT rule. If you struggle with 3 day trades to grow your account, what makes you think that with unlimited day trades that you can grow your account? Wouldn't that only expedite the amount of loss that you will experience? The reason that I think that, and again, just hear me out on this, the reason that I think the PDT rule can act as an incentive for newer traders is if they think about it like this. If you are given 3 opportunities within a day, within a 5-day period, to make the most out of those 3 positions, if you think about it logically, you are going to focus all your time and effort to make those the 3 absolute best trades within the 5 days. You're going to make sure that every position that you focus on and take is an absolute amazing trade. Does that not make sense? Does that not make sense? Does it not restrict you from taking bullcrap callouts? When everyone tries, again, I have nothing against, I don't like telling people what to do. That's my style. People sell alerts. I never understood why people sell alerts or why people buy them. I can get that they work from time to time, but realistically, they're just callouts. And if you don't have an understanding of why you're buying or why you're selling, and it's based on someone else's opinion, it's going to be very difficult for you to make sense of what you are doing, where you should enter and where you should exit, because it was handed to you. If I hand you $1,000, you're going to spend it freely because you didn't really work for it. But I can guarantee you, and the people within Learn, Plan, Profit, or that I've worked with, if you're part of TechBot Solutions, I've worked with a couple of you to break down stocks and it ended up working according to your plan. How much more rewarding, and share this with you, how much more rewarding is it when you break down a stock, when you understand what you're getting yourself into, and when it plays out according to plan? How much more rewarding is that? It's like actually working for your money instead of just getting lucky. I know the PDT rule sucks. I know it does. But it motivates you. It acts as a restriction to intrinsically motivate you to focus on quality. And if that's not the way that you look at it right now, and all you do is complain about, oh my God, I would be so much of a better trader, I'd be so much more successful if I didn't have the PD2 rule, then prove it. With the 3 trades that you are given within the week, prove it that you could focus on quality, that you can minimize the amount of positions that you take, and that you could actually be successful. Prove it to me. Like, prove it to yourself. And I think that's the thing that people struggle in most. They try to find brokerages that are not under the PDT rule, which is understandable. And then they test that out and then they see, wow, this really is not helping me. I'm just over trading. And it's something that people experience time after time. And that's why, again, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. And I'm just here to share like my opinion and what's led to my success and also my failures. And you will experience it yourself. As and when you put yourself in that position, you'll see that most likely, majority of people will not be more successful when they are given unlimited day trades because they're not focusing on quality. Build that foundation of understanding and knowledge, and you can then build off of that. Then you can become more opinionated, and then you can become more well-versed with multiple trades. So, All right, dang, TNDM, gee willikers, man. I was waiting for a pullback. I thought it was going to, I was looking at the MACD. I was like, I need this thing to go red and fully reverse. I wanted something like this to happen back down to the SMA. It's just not happening for me. It's just 1% again. Let's see. I want to do some breakdowns now. We have about 10 minutes left in this chat. And then I have a little announcement for you at the very end for those that tune in at the very end for us. It's a little incentive and thank you to all those that tune into the very end. So just a little heads up. But I want to do a couple breakdowns for you guys. One thing that we do within the Learn, Plan, Profit live chat every morning is I trade for a little bit if I take positions. And then after I'm done trading, I answer a couple questions and then I start doing breakdowns, live breakdowns, give my own 2 cents. Yeah. And let's just make sure that if you're going to share a stock, to have it in this ticker call out format and tag me possibly. Please, not possibly, please. All right. So PGNX, thank you again for putting in the proper format. And again, if you don't put in the format, I'm not going to break it down. Okay. So PGNX on the day. So this is a pharmaceutical company. I'm not a huge fan of those. Resistance at around 645. Can we see this? So based on yesterday's pattern and based on the consolidation that we're experiencing today, it's still showing signs of it being a little bit bullish, as in it's holding above the middle and top VWAP, but it's an obvious sign of a resistance. So maybe it's peaking out, right? Let's check it out. Okay, no, it is peaking out as it's recovering. Do we see this? So it showed signs of recovery. It's peaking out and it might be due for a pullback. Look at that MACD, very overextended. So one of two things. I would set an alert for two things on this one. For a break above 650 for a potential breakout, or a potential pullback back to the EMA line for this MACD to fully reverse. And what I mean by a full MACD reversal is I need the bars to fully go down, right? Then go to the red and then fully reverse back up, right? It makes sense. So for it to go through that full MACD cycle. So I'm going to go back to the 1 day, 1 minute chart and I'm going to, wait, what price point was that? So let's go to the 180. I can actually set it here. So I'll set my alert at the break above 650, so 651. And then I'll set my alert back down to around 618, which is close to the EMA line, which might act as a support, and again, a much better deal. So hopefully we can get a better reversal at that price point. So again, if you're just going to call it out with your, Stefan, I really do appreciate you tuning in, but you can't just call out the ticker. That's not how we do it here within Learn, Plan, Profit. So you have to have it in the whole breakdown, and I have to know that you dedicated time to break down the stock. So NBIX, thank you again for the proper. All right, so can some of you guys work with me and tell me what you guys think about NBIX? What is it that we're seeing here? I'm seeing a lot of consolidation, right? It's really struggling now I can see signs of a potential support right around 115. I can see signs of a potential resistance right around 120. Obvious signs of a lot of consolidation. We could see potential resistance here. It's almost showing signs of a potential peak formation. It is showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. I like that. But also something that we have to admit to ourselves is that based on current patterns, it's been really consolidating around this area. It's been hitting lows of about 115 and it's almost struggling to break above 120. So I'm going to set an alert for the break above 120, but I'm also going to set an alert as it gets closer to the support, because one of the biggest focuses that I try to focus on, especially for a swing trade, is to make sure that I get a good deal. And I don't really see that right now with NBIX. I either want to get in at the lower, out of this range and this price range of lows to highs, I want to get in closer to 115 and sell closer to 20. Right, 120. And if it continues to push up, then again from 120 to 125, but the risk becomes higher as the price becomes higher. So something that we have to admit to ourselves. So thank you again for that call out. Here we go. So where is it? Ticker symbol GW. What is that? GWW. All right, GWW. So okay, solid, consistent uptrend. I love how you guys are focusing on stocks that are showing signs of uptrend. It really makes me happy. So it's up on the day, trading between the middle and top VWAP. Love seeing that. Volume is not crazy, excuse me. And right now it's not really making higher highs. You could almost see that it's showing signs of a descending pattern since it peaked out at 372. But one thing that I like is that it's showing signs of a lot of consolidation around 350. And it's trying to, I think, really push up. So I'm going to set my alert for the break above 360 and then we could follow up with it then. That 360, when it breaks above that, I could see that to be more of like that swing trade potential. I will day trade it, or I would see value in day trading it if that, from the price points that it's at right now. And obviously it's a higher cap stock, so the day trade opportunity is not huge, and that's just something that we have to admit to ourselves. I think it was a 2% margin that it had to offer. All right. All right, PayPal. We were, I think I did get an alert about this one yesterday. Yeah, so PayPal bouncing out around this SMA support, showing signs of a potential uptrend. It's been really struggling. I like the MACD, I like the RSI. It really struggled last time, so I think this was yesterday. When it pushed up, it got fully rejected and then bounced right back up. The MACD looks good. It's just been really struggling to continue to hold and make higher highs. So that's really something that I would like to see. So, the overall margin of profit that it has to offer from, the current price point to about $94 is about 3 to 4%. So definitely not bad. And that's overall highs. I really like its overall direction. Do you see how it continues to make higher highs? It does move a lot. So this is the volatility, is something that we have to take into consideration. So one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw just so I could, remind myself there's an obvious sign of a resistance right around $92, right? So $92, that's a price point from 92 to 94. That's more in that sell point. From 88 to about 90, we're reaching more of like that buy territory. So if I were to want to swing trade something like this, I will take a smaller position and then add more to my position as it continues to uptrend. I think that's my approach that I would take. I really like the MACD. I like the overall pattern, but I want to give it some cushion. I want to give myself emotionally some cushion just in case it pulls back. If I'm in with $30,000 and it pulls back, even if it just pulls back, what is this? Like 2%, that's $600. I might become a little bit uncomfortable, right? And I just don't want to do that. So I'll take a smaller position and then I can add more to my position as it continues to uptrend. So MNKD. Okay, I really don't like this one. I find this one to be more of a pump and dump. It's a strong descending pattern. We could see obvious signs of manipulation with no volume. All of a sudden, volume becomes very apparent. It pushes up, skyrockets, and now it's showing signs of a descending pattern. I see that it's showing signs of a potential recovery. I just think that this has a lot to do with manipulation, and I don't like talking about them nor investing in them. That's just my 2 cents. It's not my style. And if you like, very aggressive momentum stocks, very aggressive low cap stocks, or very high risk stocks, Learn, Plan, Profit most likely is not going to be for you. We focus on realistic growth, understanding patterns, understanding why it's moving in which the way that it's moving, and we focus more for just consistency. That's one of our biggest core focuses within our community. So I need to be honest to all of you guys. Yeah, so the RSI and the MACD, to the look, yeah, so obviously it's kind of like the indicators, like the EMA and the SMA. So obviously they do differentiate depending on what time frame you're in. In the Learn, Plan, Profit course, I have a whole section that's meant for swing trading and a whole section meant for day trading. And I talk about what indicators and what time frames I use for swing trading and what indicators and what time frames I use for day trading. And I make sense of them because for day trading or for swing trading, I'm not going to be so focused on the overall pattern just for the 1 day, 1 minute chart. I want more data for the overall 180 days to give me a better understanding of which direction that it's pointing. So I think that's what's most important. Of course, thank you. So HTZ, I have HTZ in my watch list. So HTZ with a very aggressive sell-off right back down to that $18 support. It's been just really struggling to make higher highs. So on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, it's definitely not showing signs of anything that I want to enter in. It's trading between the middle and bottom VWAP, showing signs of a very aggressive descending pattern. And it's just something that we have to admit to ourselves. It's showing signs of a descending pattern. It's not showing signs of any recovery just yet. We could set our alerts for the potential break above the middle VWAP, and then we can follow up with it then. So TNDM, again, with that bullish pattern. So, and that MACD reversed. Wow, okay. I missed out. Let's do this. CVNA. All right, CVNA, definitely approaching its support right here. So I do have it in my watch list already. Support right around $60. It's showing signs of a potential reversal. The thing that I really like about this is this MACD. It's starting to show signs of recovery. The RSI is really starting to consolidate right around that 40 RSI. And we're approaching this price point from around 57 to about 60 that's known to be a support. So again, from here to about $70, it shows a little bit over 10%, almost 16% potential for profit. And even if we want to be conservative and sell at, like, let's say 65, from around 60 to 65, 8.27%. This is Carvana, something that I find to be a pretty solid, it's an online-based or web-based type of like dealer and stuff like that, or I've heard about it. I've actually talked to them a little bit when I was exploring different options. I think they do something for maybe financing or something like that. Wow, TNDM just broke above its resistance. So a solid push up. But yeah, so CVNA showing signs of a lot of potential, uptrend and stuff like that. We'll have to continue to set our alerts. I want to give it a little bit more time, and this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and I'm one person to struggle with this as well, is that right now, if we ask ourselves, like, should we take a position right now on CVNA? A lot of us would say that, yeah, possibly. It's at the support. It's consolidating. The MACD looks good. Why not take a position? Like, yeah, you can, but for a swing trade, position, I would like to wait for the EMA line to point a little bit more up. Like, again, in which direction do I want the stock to be moving up? Then I should probably focus and invest in stocks in which their direction are moving up. And right now, CVNA is not making higher highs. Again, keyword, it's not making higher highs. It's not showing signs of an uptrend. It's just consolidating. Do I really just want my money to sit there and potentially sell off? No. So would it be worth the time to be patient? And this is kind of what I did with TNDM when it was selling off from, $52. I had to be very patient and then buy the dips and sell the peaks, buy the dips and sell the peaks. And it's something that I plan to do with CVNA when the time comes. And again, being patient, actually not only just see the indicators do it, but actual pattern. I need a pattern to make higher highs, to pull back, to make higher lows as well, and all that good stuff. So TNDM is pulling back a little bit. Let's check it out. Yeah, everything looks good with it. Just the RSI looks very overextended and stuff like that. Let me do one more call out and then we'll end it there. So Luncheon is calling out ticker symbol BRO. Let's check this out. So Brown and Brown Insurance. Okay, so a pretty consistent uptrend pattern. We could see that it found a support right around $30, right? So right around $30 is where we see it kind of consolidating. Based on previous patterns, that was a previous resistance. It's acting as a new support. We could see that it's trying to bounce around this area, but again, the EMA line is still pointing down. The MACD is trying to reverse up, but again, we don't have that full-on confirmation. So I would set my alert. I would set my alert to alert me when the pattern and the candles break above the EMA line, but most importantly, I want this EMA line to start pointing up. I want the patterns, the candles, to be above the EMA line, and I want the EMA line to start pointing up. That's when I would find ticker symbol BRO to be attractive. So yeah. Gee willikers. All right. But I want to answer no more breakdowns if that's okay. I don't want to do any more breakdowns or any more callouts if that's okay. I wanted to focus a little bit more on maybe just answering. We have about 4 minutes left for this stream, and then I'm going to do my final announcement, stuff like that. So are you a no slaw or extra sauce kind of guy? If you're talking about Raising Cane's, it's the extra Texas toast bread. That's what I usually get. For people that have full-time work, how do you recommend us to trade? How long do you trade within the day? Okay, so not too sure if day trading is an option for you. It really depends on like what time you are available, right? I'm normally done trading, and I think the Learn Plan Profit group can like vouch for this. Like I'm normally done actively day trading within the first 2 hours of the market open. So wherever it is that you are, market opens at 6:30 my time. So by 8:30, I'm pretty much done. Sometimes I do have some like swing trades that I'm holding and stuff like that, and I just have to follow up with it. Realistically, I think swing trading is most realistic for those that are part or enrolled in school or have a full-time job. You do your technical analysis. So a routine that we have for those that are part of Learn Plan Profit is On Sundays and on Mondays, I send out this message to remind everyone to have their number one stocks ready for this week. So meaning that they have to break down all the stocks on their watch list, every stock that they've came across that week, and pick just one stock. Again, just one stock that they see value in, that's actively trending up, that's going to get them to their weekly goal. And the reason that I do that is it allows them to become so much more micro-focused on quality, right? Whatever they see value in, they plan out their trade, they make sense of it, they share it with the team, and then they get feedback from everyone. It's almost like just like group effort, right? To make sure that we focus on quality trades. And I think that's something that's really allowed us to become so much more structured and focused on quality trades. And yeah, so I would say focus more on quality, focus more on maybe not such aggressive and volatile maybe day trades, and maybe something that moves a little bit slower. Again, I don't want to tell you what to do. You have to explore all options, and that's why we always encourage maybe newer members to start paper trading and stuff like that. So is any laptop good for reading charts? I really don't have a preference. I use the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. So whatever platform, laptop, or whatever it is that you have that you think would work best for you, all power to you. I use MacBook products. I've heard a lot of PCs are much better. And again, it's all preference. Don't think, and again, when it comes down to the brokerage that I use, it's all preference. It doesn't mean that it's something that you solely have to use. So is LPP a one-time payment? That is correct. It's a one-time payment. You have lifetime access, and the continuous updates that I do to the course and to the groups, you have access to. So it's not something that you have to worry about. So how do you find stocks? How do you scan for them? Is that an LPP? Yeah, scanning for stocks is an LPP. How do you find stocks? Honestly, being completely honest, I don't scan for stocks anymore. We have this group effort, so we have this channel within our Learn Plan Profit group. It's called Group Alerts, and every single week our members break down stocks and they share their number one stock picks. So everyone that's gone through the course has this general understanding of how to focus on quality trades, and they all share this information, and that's all I look through. Through all the direct messages I get throughout the week, and through all the group alerts that everyone shares, that's how I come up with my watch list for the week. And yeah. Let's see. So one of the very common questions that we get is also about taxes and stuff like that. I don't have a video in the course about taxes. I'm not allowed to talk about taxes. And if you have any questions about how taxes will affect you with your earnings, feel free to speak to a tax specialist. You can go and visit an H&R Block or whatever tax institution is around your area. Please do not ask me questions about that. I just wouldn't be able to assist you legally about that. So, all right. Let's see. Of course. Thank you guys again for tuning in. So there we go. We're around that 8:30 mark, and TNDM just broke above 42.90. So I think we did an amazing job today, focusing on whatever was showing signs of an uptrend. I closed a little bit under $1,300 on the day, so I definitely did. I got close. I didn't want to force it based on trying to hit a dollar goal, and we could see it becoming much more overextended. Do you see this? From around $42.50 to $43. Do you see this? One thing that I do is I use this drawing tool, and it's this rectangle thing, and I need to just draw it out. I need to remind myself that within this area, within this price range, I'm reaching this price point territory that it's very overextended. It's not a good deal, and it becomes so much riskier as we approach this area. So, as I'm doing my technical analysis, I can remind myself, okay, hey, this is really high risk. I probably don't want to hold this for a very long period of time, and I should probably lock in profit. So trust me, I've been wanting to get in every time that it's gone above 42.50. I just have to continuously remind myself, hey, the risk is not worth it. I don't want to give back my profits. The risk is not worth it. I don't want to give back my profits. And you could just see that it was aggressively pushing up, and then once it gets here, it really struggles to continue to make higher highs. And it can continue to make higher highs. It's just something that I'm going to have to live with and stuff like that. So one thing that we wanted to do for you guys, for those that tuned into the very end of the live stream, and again, this is solely just an option. You guys 100% do not have to do this, but we're going to be posting it in the chat just for those that are interested. Just give me one quick second. For the next 24 hours, for all those that tuned in and got a taste of what our members within Learn Plan Profit get to experience every single day. If you would like to enroll in Learn Plan Profit, one thing that we want to offer you is $75 off. It's not something that we do often at all, especially not with recent promos and stuff like that. So if you want to enroll for the first 20 people, we're going to be offering $75 off the Learn Plan Profit Lesson Library. I think the last discount that we gave was about like $40 off or something like that, and that was a while ago. So you guys should see the links starting to pop up on the chat. Solely just an option, again, for those that want to work with me on a closer basis. If you guys like what you guys see and think surrounding yourself with myself and the Learn Plan Profit team, every single day would be worth it, then again, all you guys have to do is click the link that we are sharing. And I'm also going to post it in the description after this video uploads and kind of go from there. So the promo code is Jumpstart. So if you don't want to use the link and actually just want to, type in the coupon code, the promo code is Jumpstart. I hope that we can really jumpstart your trading career, and I really hope that you see value in working with me in the future. It's as simple as that. Just surround yourself with people that motivate you. If you just want to continue watching my videos, 100%. I love all the time that you guys have invested in just the YouTube videos alone. If you would like to work with me a little bit on a closer basis, if you think my trading style in the way that I do it is something that you would see a value, you got to see me trade live today. And I would love the opportunity to work with you. So for the next 24 hours, $75 off for the first 20 people. And that's really just it. So thank you guys again so much for your time. And if there's anything else that I can do to better assist you, if you have any questions whatsoever, simply direct message me. I'm going to grab some breakfast real quick. And then I'm going to be going live on YouTube, recapping my trade like I normally do. And then I'm going to be answering some direct messages. So again, 20 people, $75 off for the next 24 hours. We'll see you guys in just a bit. Thank you guys again for your time. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.